Hi, I'm Philip Rice, CEO and founder of Transit Hopper. It's a revolutionary new app that's trying to drive value into the transit market. Now let's talk for a second about your daily grind. You've got to get to work. Maybe you got to travel for business. The freeways are clogged. Americans are increasingly turning to mass transit. That could be buses or trains and light rail. In some cities there are different modes of transportation, but when they go to that, it's still a pain in the neck. We're talking long lines of queues, hard to use applications, and none of it gives value to the user. And that's where Transit Hopper intends to come in. We're going to give you route planning, ticket purchase, and give you entertainment and dining recommendations when you go to your new location. Three things that are being done with about 60 different apps in the market at the moment. We want to give you one easy-to-use app that overlays different municipalities. That's the value that Transit Hopper is attempting to give to the market. There's a value here that's not being captured by the market. One where people are frustrated, trying to get through lines, figure out new transit authorities. That's where Transit Hopper comes in. Transit Hopper intends to help you plan, purchase your tickets, and it even gives you recommendations on where to go to eat. It's a market opportunity that's not being met by any other app in the market right now. The basic idea is focusing in on the customer that's using the app, helping them use it wherever they go, and making their experience better. That's where Transit Hopper excels. Now, if you're like most Americans, you've probably traveled for business. But did you know that over 450 million business trips are planned and executed in the U.S. every year? That means over 1 million people traveling every single day. Overwhelmingly, some 67% of these are using planes, trains, and/or buses. That means transit systems, and that's where Transit Hopper comes in and helps the person find value. Right now, there's no app that connects them all and makes it easy for the user, nor is there an app that helps you plan your trip ahead of time, figure out where you want to go, and gives you recommendations on where to eat. All of this is great for the user, and it helps drive value into an industry that's pretty much focused on the industry itself. Now let's talk about market opportunity. Transit Hopper aims to focus on three pieces of the travel industry. These market segments are trip planning, purchase of fare, and add-ons. And what that means is it gives us a vast opportunity to unite and give value across three pieces of the market that are currently underserved. In terms of trip planning, 70% of the United States trips are currently started in the planning phase on a mobile application. That's where Transit Hopper plans to get in there, offer that value. But it's not a standalone feature. When you offer the fare purchase along with the trip planning, now you see an integrated market opportunity. And when you add in the fact that we know you through a customer-centric approach, we know your taste, we know what you like to eat, and we can offer you recommendations, it's obvious that the market is laid over with three unique pieces that no other app in the industry is offering. It's value that's not being served, and Transit Hopper plans to make good use of it. Now, what are the unique benefits of Transit Hopper? Is it like every other app out there? Well, the answer is no. It's very clear. There are several apps in the transit industry in the United States, and all they do is integrate one piece of one city. No value there. This app integrates them all. It integrates payment across transit authorities, helps the user plan and purchase their tickets ahead of time. No more waiting in lines or stressing out about whether or not you're going to make your train. And once it gets to know you, it makes customer-centric recommendations on where to eat, things you might like to see and do when you're in this new city. That's the unique value that Transit Hopper drives. It's not based so much on the app. It's based on getting to know the user and helping them have a better life. Now, we've talked about the market segments. It's nice to know what we plan to target initially, but does that give Transit Hopper a sustained competitive advantage? The answer is no. Like most apps, we could be copied and followed. It's not in that we offer a value of a particular type. It's that our approach is uniquely customer-centric. We focus on getting to know our customer, getting to know what they like and what they don't like. and then pivoting, just like we're doing and seeding this initial startup, into those markets that the customer is finding value in. That's the sustained competitive advantage. Uniting into new areas. It might be another form of transit that we have to integrate and show value into. And we're willing to do that. We're willing to use integrations across data points, across authority levels, across jurisdictions as our standard operating procedure, if you will. And that is our sustained competitive advantage. Offering value now is where we get the usership. And then as we move forward, we sustain that usership by focusing on creating value and delivering. Let's talk about the management team. First, there's me, Philip Rice, CEO and founder. I've been all over the world. I've traveled in all different transit authorities. I've waited in queues. I've ridden on trains, buses. I've even ridden on some animals, some of which didn't smell too good. And sometimes it was a complete pain in the rear to do it. I know the pain that the Bailey business traveler faces. Trying to get in line, trying to get a ticket, you ended up in the wrong line. I don't want any of Transit Hopper's users to face that. In addition to myself, we have a number of highly talented management professionals that come to our team. Let's talk about them. Next up in our management team is Michael McHugh. He's our Director of Sales and Client Communication. He holds a BA in Communication with a minor in Marketing. He has experience in the United States Marine Corps with supply and fiscal related jobs, and he's ready and prepped to help us achieve more. Next up is Mindy Nelson, our Director of Advertising and Marketing. Mindy has a PhD in Public Administration and vast experience working with public and private sectors. She's recently transitioned to help her family business grow and flourish, and now she's coming to Transit Hopper to help us do the same. Next up is Bo Perschbacher, our Director of Technology and Training. Bo has extensive experience in website development, application development, and he also has experience in the tourism and transit industry. Finally, Eric Nelson, our Director of Research and Development. Eric is an airline pilot. He's used to flying in and out of all kinds of cities all around the United States. He knows how to use their systems, the flaws, the drawbacks, and he has a keen insight to help Transit Hopper deliver value to the customer. There are some legal considerations for Transit Hopper. First and foremost, we're going to be a limited liability corporation and founded in Seattle. We'll have written agreements with all partners, shareholders, and employees, including non-compete clauses to make sure that our proprietary data is kept secret and as safe as possible. We'll also get contracted services through legal, accounting, and auditing to ensure that our business performances are legal and abiding by all applicable laws. For cultural considerations, Transit Hopper is strongly committed to diversity. We understand that a rich world around us means people from different places. We are committed to hiring people based on ethnicity and their abilities, and making sure that we represent the communities that they come from. After all, that's the customer we serve. In terms of ethical considerations, Transit Hopper has to primarily worry about logon security. It's online, there will be users, there will be unique information that people could ostensibly use in the wrong fashion. To counter this, we've paid for unique security access as part of our seed money ask. We know that it's going to be a chief concern for our users, and we want to take care of them. Some other considerations are the cost of the app itself and surcharges. We won't be charging for the app, and we won't be charging surcharges. Rather, our focus is customer-centric. We're going to develop value based on understanding our user base, and then we're going to work with platforms across marketing agencies, work into the communities where we do our business, and understand how we can develop click-through advertising value as a way of generating funds. It's not about charging our users, but it's about delivering value to them. To address societal concerns in the cities we operate, we're going to have two programs to help give value back to society. One is our Bed to Bus program. It allows homeless people to interact and find beds for the night, and then we'll give them a free fare to get there. Sometimes that's difficult. They might have to travel miles on foot and they just don't do it, ending up spending the night in the dark or in the cold. Transit Hopper intends to solve that problem, stepping in and giving them an opportunity to go get a warm bed and a hot meal. In addition to that, we have the Hop to Work program, which is going to work with local unemployment agencies and the unemployed, giving them opportunity to get ways to work for the first few months, making sure that they're on their feet and back in the workforce. The technology of Transit Hopper is unique. We'll interface with Android or Google location services, give the user a logon, and once they're there, we'll give them choices about what mode of transportation. Once they choose, we'll interface with those transit authorities, the train system, the bus system, for example, give them payment options, and then route and complete their payment. Once that's done, they'll be given a unique code that they can use to get onto their mode of transportation and go on their way. No more waiting in lines, and it's easy to use right on their phone. In addition to the technology of it, there's a customer loyalty piece. What keeps people coming back? To keep people coming back to Transit Hopper, we're going to give them a social media aspect. They're going to be able to upload their pictures, their videos, give recommendations, hear from other people, other users about the routes they took, the experiences they had at various restaurants. We're going to give them the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, as well as their travel usage. It's basically social media, and that's an increasingly used platform by Americans. Over 70% of Americans log on to Facebook every day. We intend to be the Facebook of travel. Let's talk marketing for a second. We're going to have about 1.5 million users at the end of fiscal year 2019. The cost to acquire is approximately 50 cents per. We know that every time we get click-through revenue, it's going to cost or give us about 75 cents to $2, depending on the marketing partner. That revenue is going to help us break even within approximately 6 months, conservatively 12 months. We're definitely going to be in the green in the 18-month period. Now let's talk financials. It's a tough market we're going to be entering, and we're building an app. It's expensive to do that. We'll have to keep 3 full-time programmers on build. That means $50,000 per month burning away. We extrapolate after 6 months that this will taper down and we'll be able to break even thereafter. And how are we going to break even? That's a great question. Click-through advertising. We're not charging for the app. We're not charging surcharges on the tickets. We're charging to get a click-through with our marketing partners. At a 5% rate, we'll be able to break even well before the first year is up. And 5% is very conservative, especially with targeted marketing. We expect we're going to have about 1.4 to 1.5 million users at the end of fiscal year 2019. That's very conservative as well. Most social media apps have well over 2 million, 3 million within their first year and a half. All of these conservative estimates help us get a good feel for the market we're going into and ask the appropriate amount to build a pretty complex app. Now all this is good and well, but what's the exit plan? Well, Transit Hopper intends to be acquired by a larger technology firm. As we said before, we plan to have about 28 million users at the end of a 4 to 5 year period. The value for a long-term user is approximately $2. That gives us roughly $50 million in valuation. Now let's talk about the ask. You've heard about the market. You've heard about the problem. You've seen how we intend to meet that problem and deliver value. You've heard about the financials and the value of the app itself and the user base. But what do we need to get it off the ground? Well, Transit Hopper is asking for $600,000 in upfront seed money. We could push upward to $900,000 with the right investors, and that would keep us at a 46% shareholder equity, with the remaining 54% with the 5 founding members. That value within the first 1.5 years is approximately going to give you $3 million. So $900,000 now, 3 times your money at the end of a year and a half. At the end of 4 years, we project that value would push up towards $50 million for the company. It's going to be a good investment for the right investor. If you know it, if you're a founding technical investor, we'd like to have you on board. We'd like to work with you. It's a market where we can do a lot with a lot of users and help them. We'd like to do it with you. Some things to remember about Transit Hopper. We're going to enter in the market that's not being served, overlay 3 pieces of the market, and do it with one unique app that gives users the value of planning, purchasing, and then finding entertainment and/or dining. It's not being served in the market right now. In fact, it's a hugely fractured market. 60 different apps serve it. We're going to do it across municipalities, and we're going to do it with an app. That app is an upfront cost to an investor of approximately $600,000 to $900,000. The value at the end of 4 years is going to skyrocket. We need you on board, and we'd like to give value to the user. Come join us.